pretty recently we got a gold medal in the Battle Dome. However, the team that I used wasn't necessarily the team of Pokemon that I really wanted to use. We got that gold medal with Metagross, Lapras, and Gengar. And Metagross is one of my favorite Pokemon. Gengar, really good in the Battle Frontier, but not really necessarily one of my all-time favorites. And my Milotic, again, really cool Pokemon, but not in my top 10. One of the things that I really wanted to do within the Battle Frontier was use Pokemon that I really love. So I spent and now that we got the gold medal, I think I can kind of take a step back, and we've learned a lot more by using a better team, getting to the higher rounds and understanding what Pokemon we're going to be facing. So within the last 2 weeks, I spent a decent amount of time training some other Pokemon for what I would call a team that uses some of my all-time favorite Pokemon, but also trying to actually assemble a team that's going to be good, because not every Pokemon is meant for the Battle Frontier, or not every Pokemon and its role on a team is meant to be in the Battle Frontier. If I had to pick any team, it would be probably Steelix, Tyranitar, and Aggron. Probably. That doesn't work out because they're all pretty weak to fighting grass or fighting and water. So it's just overall not a good team. But taking a step back, I think we're going to take some risks. We're going to take some calculated risks with this team. I'm going in understanding it's going to be tough, but I think it'll be fun. It might be worth it. It'll be stressful. I definitely know that because we spent a lot of time trying to do this before I got the gold medal. And yeah, it just got tough. But anyway, the last few weeks I spent training a Lapras and another Aggron. This is the third Aggron we've trained for the Battle Frontier. And the third Pokemon is going to be a Steelix. This team, maybe we'll get to this towards the end of the video. This team has a lot of common weaknesses that we're going to have to address, but at least going into it, we can understand and try to adapt to that. One thing too, I'll get to it probably again later in the video. During the EV training the level grinding for Aggron, I found a shiny Meowth and I killed it, which is I guess okay. I already have a shiny Meowth, but I just wasn't paying attention. I was clicking the buttons too fast, and then I saw, oh no, that's a Meowth shiny. So I quickly snapped a picture of it. That was kind of funny though. The second shiny I ended up killing. The first one was an Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. It was a Virizion, and it used Struggle and killed itself. But it is what it is. I'm not too hurt about it. If it was Larvitar, that would have been upset. But I was also thinking at the same time, I was like, wow, I haven't seen a shiny in a very long time in this game. And then a couple hours later, it popped up. Would have been nice to get, but I really hope the shiny Larvitar pops up eventually. Anyway, though, let's get into Lapras. So, going into this, I definitely wanted to use Steelix. Steelix is becoming definitely one of my favorite Pokemon. It just looks so cool. It's a metal snake. You guys know I love metal snakes. Love Cyber Dragon. Love Wurmcoil Engine. Love Steelix. So it's no surprise that I wanted to use this Pokemon on the team. Steelix has some common weaknesses, Steelix's weaknesses. Well, first of all, this video is not going to be about Steelix because we talk a lot about Steelix. But Steelix has very few weaknesses. But it's weak to grass, water, and was it fighting and ground? Hold on, I had to relook this up. I forgot. Steelix is weak to fire, water, fighting, and that's it. Oh, and ground. So 4 weaknesses, and really only 2 are weaknesses: water and fire, because Steelix's defense is off the Richter scale. So fighting and ground aren't really that bad. We definitely have to acknowledge it, but water and fire are its weaknesses. We're the ones to be the most concerned about. So, building the team, I decided, what is a Pokemon I love that counteracts or makes up for Steelix's weaknesses? And Lapras is definitely one of the Pokemon that came to mind. I love Wailord, from a water type perspective, Wailord is my favorite, hands down. I don't want to say we do have a Wailord, but I think I might have to train a different one that focuses more on special attack. So yeah, now I'm thinking about it, I kind of wish I did Wailord. But anyway, we did Lapras because Lapras is just a much better Pokemon. It's got a lot better stats, or base stats. It can learn a whole bunch of different moves. It's definitely just more proven to be used within the Battle Frontier. So that is why I decided to train Lapras. But first and foremost, it's one of my favorite water Pokemon. It's basically the Loch Ness Monster. Super cool. But Lapras, you can build it a couple of different ways. One way is I guess they call it like the spit build. So this is where you go like special attacking moves and you build it kind of beefy because Lapras has like a base stat of 130, pretty high. There's also like the Perish Song build, things like that. But I decided to go the spit build because I like to be able to defeat things somewhat quickly. So having moves that are super effective against a lot of other Pokemon, I just thought would be pretty good. So that's why I decided to go that route. But yeah, why we chose Lapras too was because it makes up for Steelix's weaknesses. Resistant to water, and actually one time's it's not actually resistant to fire, which is kind of surprising, but I guess it's because it's an ice type. But also Lapras can have the ability Water Absorb, which heals it when it gets hit by a water attack. So that's also a nice thing to keep in mind. But yeah, from like a strategic point of view, I just thought Lapras handled or counteracted what Steelix was weak to the most, while also being a pretty well-known Pokemon to use within the Battle Frontier, and it's just one of my favorite water types as well. Now, keeping that in mind, or keeping Steelix's weaknesses in mind, Lapras is weak to Electric, Grass, Fighting, and Rock. Now, Steelix is pretty good because it is immune to Electric, and it's also pretty resistant to Rock. The only weakness now is both of these Pokemon are 2 times weak to Fighting. So like a logical thing here would probably to kind of have a Pokemon that isn't weak to Fighting, but at the same time, it's very hard to plan for every single possible encounter within the Battle Frontier because a lot of the Pokemon, they have a lot of versatile moves. It's just how the Battle Frontier is. So at this point in my team building, I didn't know exactly what my third Pokemon would be. I had an idea, but so let's talk about the Lapras build. I guess just so we're all on the same page, the Steelix build is the Steelix that I trained a while ago. That's in another video, but this is an Adamant nature. Pretty much, it has perfect IVs in attack as well as maxed out EVs in attack. We also split the HP and special defense to try and give it some extra beef. But the idea behind the Steelix is just to throw a choice band on it, make it super awesome physical attacking Pokemon. But it's also pretty good because it has a lot of resistances. So moving to the Lapras, before I started training anything, I wanted a modest or calm nature. So I either wanted the Lapras to pretty much have as much special attack as possible. But if we ended up getting a calm nature, the calm nature is going to boost its special defense. I'm just going to fact check myself real quick. Calm nature does boost special defense and decrease attack. And again, modest nature increases the special attack and decreases attack. So the attack stat doesn't really matter. But either modest or calm nature, Lapras innately has a lot of HP, like a lot. So I definitely wanted to use that to my advantage. So one of the things with Lapras too, again, getting back to the weaknesses, weak to Electric, Grass, Fighting, and Rock. So Electric and Grass are special attacking, and Fighting and Rock are physical attacking. The Pokemon that this Lapras was going to be mostly handling in my head, and the Pokemon that I was most concerned with, are going to be Electric type Pokemon. And that's because like a lot of the Dragon Pokemon, like Dragonite, think Latios, Latias, things like that, they have Thunderbolt. And I wanted to make sure that Lapras could handle at least one Thunderbolt. Or like, I guess like 2 or 3, to be honest. So designing this Pokemon, in my head, I'm understanding that I will most likely use this Pokemon against other Pokemon that will probably have Thunderbolt. Again, we're kind of all over the place. There's a lot I want to chat about, but the Lapras is going to have the moves Surf, Psychic, Ice Beam, and then Thunderbolt. The Ice Beam is critical, especially same thing with Surf, but the Ice Beam, very critical because, again, there's a lot of powerful Dragon-type Pokemon within the frontier. And again, a lot of those Pokemon have Thunderbolt. So I wanted to design the Lapras understanding that there's probably going to be Thunderbolts in the near future. For the ability, Lapras can either have Water Absorb or Shell Armor. Water Absorb heals when it gets hit by Water type attack, but Shell Armor prevents your opponent from critical hitting. And the Battle Frontier, they get crits all the time. So I really did want the Water Absorb because it reacted. It like counteracts to Steelix's weakness, but also Shell Armor, not that bad. That's pretty good in my head. So going into the actual breeding, well, this is like the pre-planning, and going into the actual breeding, it was actually kind of good because Lapras's egg move is a monster type. It's also a water one, what they call it, but the fact that it's a monster type is really good. We've already trained Milotic, Tyranitar, and Aggron for IVs in the past, so I can actually, anyone could use those Pokemon and breed with Lapras. And it works because they're the same egg group. One of the first things I did was trade the Lapras from Fire Red to Emerald, and then I bred that Lapras with one of my modest Dittos. This Ditto also had perfect IVs and speed, not that it really matters, but I was trying to transfer the nature of the Ditto to a female Lapras. And again, to do that, you have to put the Everstone on the Ditto. After a little while, we ended up getting a female Lapras with modest nature, which is important. Then we took those Pokemon out of the daycare. I put in the modest Lapras with the Everstone, and I put in a male Larvitar that had perfect IVs and special attack and special defense. This is good because I was targeting, again, we wanted ideally, we want HP, defense, special attack, and special defense. But that's 4. We're probably not getting that. So I really wanted HP, special attack, and special defense. Really trying to maximize that special defense because I'm terrified of Thunderbolt, especially on a Pokemon like Lapras that has to deal with these dragon types. After a little while, we ended up getting a male Lapras with perfect IVs and special attack and special defense. We took out the Larvitar and swapped it in for this Lapras so we can get eggs a lot easier. After some time, we hatched a female modest nature Lapras with perfect IVs and special attack and special defense. I then took this Lapras out and then put in a male Larvitar with perfect IVs and HP and special defense, and then bred those. So we get the female with special attack and special defense, and then the Larvitar male with HP and special defense. So hoping that the HP, special attack, and special defense all go over, as well as the modest nature from the Lapras. I took a note here. It took a lot of eggs, but we ended up getting a male Lapras with perfect HP. And then, so I swapped the Larvitar out with this Lapras so the eggs could, transfer or get, produced a lot quicker. One of the eggs that hatched actually had pretty good overall IVs. After talking to the old guy for a while, we found out it had HP, special attack, and special defense. All those are perfect IVs, which was great because those are the ones that I was targeting. However, the nature was bold, which increases the defense and lowers the attack. This wasn't terrible. I thought it was actually pretty decent. I decided to level it up with 18 rare candies because that's all I had in Emerald, and then I threw it in the IV calculator just to get an idea of what the numbers we're looking with. Actually, the overall IVs are great again, like the dude said, but the speed IVs are atrocious. It's basically 0. But HP, even attack's high. The defense is pretty good. I mean, above 20 is kind of what I'm looking for. But special attack, special defense, yeah, overall, everything's really good except for that speed. I kind of wish the attack didn't have like any IVs because you don't need it. I wish those could get transferred to the speed, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I decided to train this Pokemon, judging by the fact that it had a somewhat beneficial nature, but it had the 3 IVs that I was targeting. And the nature was Shell Armor, which again, I kind of wanted Water Absorb, but at the same time, the Elite Four or the Battle Frontier crits all the time. So like, I think Shell Armor is a great ability to have. So to begin the EV training process, I went over to Lily Cove City to buy some more vitamins. I put 10 HP, 10 special defense, and 10 special attacking vitamins on Lapras. And then we taught Lapras all the good moves right from the beginning, basically, because it could learn them. I taught it Surf, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and I had a Psychic too. I was hoping that some game had a Psychic because I didn't want to like play through the rest of Fire Red or Leaf Green to get it. I did have to go to the game corner to buy Ice Beam, which isn't a big deal because we had a lot of money just from grinding. That one video that we did like a while ago talking about like the fastest way to get money in this game, I had like such an overflow of money, so I didn't need to do anything for that, which is great. It felt really cool to have a like completely cracked out Lapras at level 5 with all these awesome moves. That was pretty cool. It was really easy to do the EV or the EV training because it had all these good moves. So we equipped the Matcha Brace and we headed over to some of the earlier routes to try and hunt down some Tentacools for the special defensing EVs. I usually will do all the training and stuff in Fire Red, but I've been recently trying to enjoy Emerald a little more instead of just only using Emerald for the Battle Frontier and like only Fire Red for like training. So decided to do some training in Emerald and spice it up a little bit. So I went over to the ocean in Petalburg, and we were only encountering like Wingull. And I don't know why the Tentacool wasn't spawning, but I decided to go to Route 114 instead, which has Lombre, Latoad, and Swablu, which is a lot better to do for the special defense training. So in this game, Tentacool, yeah, it can still work, but Route 114 is definitely a lot better. Then next up, we went over to Rustboro Tunnel and defeated a whole bunch of Whismur. This gives attack HP, this gives it HP EVs. So actually, I did this a little while ago, I remember. Yeah, so special defense, yeah, I was not playing around. We did 252, let's see if this is focused. We did 252 EVs in special defense. So 100 from the vitamin and then 76 the remaining with the Pokemon on 114. I really did not want to die to Thunderbolts. Then yeah, we went over to again to defeat the Whismur, and we did an even split between HP and special attack. They both got 128 EVs. To get the special attacking EVs, we went over to just east of Fall Arbor Town. You defeat Spinda and Slugma there, and those will give you the special attacking EVs. Then I traded the Lapras over to Fire Red to do the level training in the Savant Canyon. I'm still trying to get this shiny Larvitar. It's been a very long time. It's been like 8 years, maybe. No, not 8. It's been like at least 7 years, maybe 8. Jeez. Hopefully it pops up soon. But yeah, I also have the Lucky Egg in Fire Red, so that is definitely speeds up the process. Before, I used a lot of PP ups on Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, as I know this is going to be important when we get to the Battle Frontier, and also have a whole lot of them in Fire Red, Leaf Green, because when you've been playing this game a long time, and with the Meowths with the pickup ability, you just get a lot of PP ups. So I gave Lapras a bunch of them. Once we trained at level 100, traded it back to Emerald, and one thing I forgot to do is check the hidden power. I don't really think it matters for this Pokemon, as I think all of its moves are pretty decked out. I don't really think we need anything else, but knowing the hidden power could be pretty helpful. After hitting level 100, we can check the IVs, or we can check the stats and compare it to the IVs. So the final stats were 433 HP, 180 attack, 202 defense, 238 special attack. 289 special defense, and 127 speed. And the IVs came out to 31 HP, 25 attack, 19 defense, 31 special attack, 31 special defense, and 2 speed. And again, that special defense and no other stat is perfect because we did not have a beneficial nature along with the max IVs and EVs, which is, again, still alright. This Pokemon is super beefy. So that's pretty much all with Lapras. Now, at this point, again, I'm kind of getting back to, okay, what does the team need? Or what are my favorite Pokemon, and what does the team need? One of the things we need to be able to handle is ground water types, because right now, this team can't really handle that. Lapras, I mean, Steelix, I don't know, it's going to be kind of tough. Doesn't really have a move right now that can handle it. And Lapras, in a sense, I mean, can, but none of the moves are super effective. And Lapras, and I'm worried that like Quagmire and Swampert and things like that, they're gonna probably set up with like a curse or whatever. Should I be super over paranoid about these Pokemon? Probably not, but they just give me a lot of trouble and they're annoying. So I think having a grass type or some other Pokemon that can handle these things is important. Or at least having a move on a Pokemon that can do that. Another thing too that I was considering is, again, the tanky normal types and the grass healing Pokemon. Like Ludicolo. I hate Ludicolo. Right now, the normal type Pokemon, Steelix can kind of handle, you know, like a Blissey, like that Choice Band Earthquake with the stab. That's pretty powerful. But at the same time, and I guess Steelix also has Explosion too, so. But I hate using Explosion. It's just risky. It's scary. I've gotten burned by that before. Lost a run. But we at least have ways of handling those Pokemon. The grass healers right now, we don't really have a good way, especially because Steelix isn't weak to grass, but at the same time, I feel like we need like an Aerial Ace or something, you know, really to handle those annoying grass Pokemon. One thing too is the team doesn't have Toxic right now, which can handle a lot of things, you know, like Wobbuffet, and again, really anything that doesn't have like a healing capability or like a berry. But anyway, I was thinking really heavily of like Vileplume, because Vileplume's awesome. Could get Solar Beam, but the thing, if Vileplume could learn Leech Seed, absolute heartbeat, or what's the expression? Would have done it in a heartbeat. But the problem is, Vileplume can't learn Leech Seed, and there's only one way to get it. I think I was reading online. You had to get it like in some event. Kind of a big bummer. Also, looking at Vileplume, I don't think just would have been that amazing of a Pokemon to use, which is kind of sad. It's just, again, it's a great Pokemon, but its stats are pretty mediocre, and the most important thing is it doesn't learn a lot of great moves. At least in my opinion. Maybe somebody could argue that. I was getting back to Tyranitar. Like, man, Tyranitar would be so cool. But, I don't know. I just didn't want to do Tyranitar. And then I was thinking, I don't even remember what else I was thinking. Flygon was an option. The Flygon. Why am I forgetting the other options? Metagross would have been really cool too, but then I'm like, you know, where do you have a steel type? Do really? I like Metagross a lot, but I don't know. So the Pokemon we decided on, maybe I already put it in the title or whatever, but yeah, I talked about it earlier in the video. This video's getting long. Decided on another Aggron. I decided on another Aggron because Aggron is so cool. I literally I like had a dream, like going to bed. I was like, dude, Aggron is so cool. Like, how can I not put this Pokemon on my team? There's a reason that I started training Aggron, or the first Pokemon I trained was an Aggron. Then like the second Pokemon I trained was like an Aggron. Because Aggron's cool. Such a cool Pokemon. So I decided, you know what? I understand we already have a Steel type. I know I'm putting myself at a massive disadvantage by doing this. But Aggron is so cool. I can't not put him on the team. The idea of having a Steelix and an Aggron on the same team is spicy. At least the key thing with Lapras is, again, I love Lapras, but Lapras counteracts a lot of the weaknesses that Steelix and Aggron have. So also Aggron has a lot of weaknesses. This is not a good decision. Like when I look at this from like an objective point of view, there's no reason to use Aggron in the Battle Frontier. Like he's 4 times weak to fighting and ground. Has a lot of resistances though, like a lot. 2 times weak to water, but 4 times weak to fighting and ground. That's especially ground when there's so many Pokemon with Earthquake. He does have very high defense, like 180. That's like the highest in the game. So when I look at this again objectively, it's like Aggron, what are you doing? Like, don't pick this Pokemon. Anything with 4 times weakness is just pretty tough in the Battle Frontier, especially when it's ground. But Aggron's cool, so we're gonna try and make it work again. So I decided to actually hold on. So I saw this build, or Aggron, depending on what you're looking at, but is it Aggron? So there's 4 Aggrons within the Battle Frontier. Aggron 3 is one of the coolest Pokemon I've ever seen in my life. It's a modest nature Aggron that runs Bright Powder and has Surf, Thunder, Fire Blast, Blizzard, and it basically maxes its special defense, or sorry, its special attack out. That's awesome. There's also a pretty good Quick Claw Aggron with Iron Tail, Earthquake, and Aerial Ace. There's a lot of cool ways to build Aggron. Even this one's got like, was it actually? Yeah, it's Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave, Focus Punch, Earthquake, Rock Slide. That's pretty spicy. So there's a lot of cool ways to build Aggron. You don't just gotta build them like, the physical attack and root. But the thing is, it has 60 base special attack, which isn't that high. It has 110 normal attack. So there's a lot of ways to build this. So again, I built 2 Aggrons already. One that focused on attack and HP, and another that focused on attack and defense. So we can actually bring these back in, and now that we have a better understanding of the Battle Frontier, we can kind of plan a little bit better. But this Aggron, I decided to be different. I have these great dumb ideas, and we'll see if it's actually going to be good or not. But I decided, let's build that Aggron 3 with like a modest nature, and just make them so cool. We have a modest Tyranitar that has like Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, all those cool moves. But with this Aggron, what I'm going to try and do is we're going to go things like Blizzard, Fire Blast, I think Solar Beam, and I think Thunder. Those are some awesome moves, and I think we're going to run the Bright Powder too, because that helps our evasiveness. I don't remember the percentage, but I think it's like 10%. I don't like playing the chance game with the probability game within the Battle Frontier, because you lose. It's just how it is. But I think to use Aggron, I think we got to go risky. I think we got to play the risk, play against the odds. I think it'd be kind of fun. It'd make some like fun videos, where it's like, if this Thunder hits, we win. If not, we just lose. I thought it'd be kind of cool. I don't know. So that's what I decided to build. So we already were able to get a pretty great head start on the IV breeding process, because we already had 2 Aggrons that we had maxed out, like with IVs. So we had a lot of other Arons within our egg, or our box of Pokemon that we can use to breed. We also have Tyranitar and now Lapras that has all these IVs too. One of the first things I did was try and get a modest female Aggron. So I took one Aggron. Actually, yeah, I already had a pretty good Aggron that had I already had an Aron with perfect IVs and attack, special attack, and speed. It had a weird nature though, so I ended up breeding that with a modest Ditto that we talked about earlier. Try and get that to transfer. Then the first batch of eggs, yeah, this was actually pretty cool. The first batch of eggs from that, we got a female Modest Nature, and then the special attack IV transferred, which was cool. When the old dude in the Battle Frontier judged the Pokemon, it overall had some pretty high stats. So we leveled up with some rare candies to try and see what we got. And I think I put it here. And yeah, HP was awful. It was basically 0 to 5, but the special attack was definitely perfect. The attack and speed could have been pretty perfect as well, but that old guy wasn't telling me. But with the with the HP that low, I don't know, especially the special defense too, I don't know if I really wanted that. And this was only the first batch of eggs too, so I figured we might as well grind out a little more to see what we can get. I did take the Ditto out, or I put this new Aggron in. I took the Ditto out also, and I put in a male Lapras that had perfect IVs and HP and special defense. So now we got the Aggron with Modest Nature and special attack, and we got the Lapras with the other 2 IVs that we're targeting. We ended up hatching a female Modest Nature defense and special attack. Yeah, I don't know where that defense came from. It may have came from the Lapras, or it could have just been random. But I swapped the one Aggron out that we had for this one because this just had another additional IV that was great. After some time, we hatched a Modest Nature, HP, and special attacking female, so I put that one in instead because I wanted the HP IV more than the defense IV. At the time, I noted that this is probably a good one that I could train, but let's just keep going and see how far we can get. To save some time, it took a long time. I wasn't getting anything, like nothing was really transferring. So I took this I took this Aggron out of the daycare and I leveled it up, or actually I didn't level it up, it was already level 34 because all the going back and forth between trying to hatch the eggs, and we just checked the IVs. HP was really high, or actually we knew the HP was perfect when I say the attack doesn't matter because we're building a Modest Nature one. The defense and special defense were in the range of like 12 and 14, which really would like to be above 20, but it's not the end of the world, and the speed was atrocious, but it's okay. I guess I might have been a little impatient with this, but it was just taking a long time, and I'm like, I kind of want to get grinding, so I decided to train this one. I really wish that special defense though was much higher, but overall we got max HP, got perfect special attack. Let's see what we can do. I wanted to train this again in Emerald, so I ran over to the Battle Frontier to buy some more vitamins. I didn't realize how annoying buying vitamins are in the Battle Frontier. You have to buy one at a time, and it like makes you go all the way back out of the chat menu every time you do it. That's annoying. Anyway, I was really debating a split between, so I definitely wanted to max out, actually what did I even do? I definitely wanted to max out the special attack. But I was debating, do we max out HP or do we do a split between HP and special defense? I could kind of see a case for both, you know? So here's the thing. Aggron, again, is 4 times weak to fighting and ground. It is probably, and this Pokemon is slow. It is probably best to never put Aggron in a situation where, or try to avoid any situation where Aggron would be against a Pokemon that has one of those moves, because regardless, even if you have a super high defense, that move is going to destroy you. What I was really concerned, or what I decided to focus my concern about, was the 2 times weakness to water. If I can avoid situations where Aggron's going to get put against fighting ground type, it really only has one weakness. And I understand, like, you can't always do that, you know, things are going to come up and Aggron's going to have to get sent out in certain situations. But at least, you know, planning for that. Like, we have Lapras and even Steelix, who, sure, they're kind of weak to ground and fighting. Because Steelix is weak to ground and fighting, but not 4 times. It's different. And I thought, like, if Aggron has the moves like Thunder and, you know, Solar Beam, that's the one tricky thing. But anyway, I get to that in a second. If it can survive a Surf, I think we're in a good spot. I don't think planning to survive an Earthquake is that tough. However, I wanted Aggron to try and defeat the ground water types. The problem is, Aggron is probably one of the worst Pokemon against those Pokemon because they have Surf and they have Earthquake. So it's tough. I think it's not smart, I don't know, like from like a strategic point of view to do this, but I'm gonna try it anyway. I don't know. Why not? But I'm gonna throw Solar Beam on Aggron, and I'm gonna see how well it does against these other Pokemon. Probably just contradicted a whole bunch of things I said. Like with designing Aggron to not handle Earthquake in Pokemon. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, but I just think it'd be kind of cool. Gonna try and avoid situations where Aggron has to be against Pokemon, you know, with Earthquake and like Brick Break. But at the same time, the exception is going to be the ground water Pokemon, where I'm kind of hoping Aggron can pull through, get a Solar Beam off. Giga Drain is an option too. Aggron can learn that, but I don't know. I don't know if it does enough damage. Aggron's slow. Giga Drain could be good though, and I'm thinking about it. I should probably consider that a little bit more. Anyway, though, we went on a big side tangent. Decided to do a split between HP and Special Defense, and not worry about defense because Aggron's defense is already quite high. Special defense is low. Let's try and beef that up, knowing that I want to be able to survive at least 1 or 2 surfs. The Aggrons I had in the past, let's see, one has actually 0 IVs in Special Defense, and I didn't put any EVs in it. The other one has 25 IVs in Special Defense. I didn't put any IVs in it. I forgot which one. I used the one. Yeah. So with the one that has 0 IVs, that thing could not live a surf, like at all. So even though this had perfect IVs in special, or sorry, this had perfect stats essentially in HP, because it had perfect IVs and we maxed it out with the EVs. So I'm really hoping here that this Aggron with HP and special defense stats like that we're targeting to bolster up can survive. At least enough so a Solar Beam can go off. So yeah, that's why I decided to do the split between HP and special defense. That was like a 20-minute like response on why I did that, and it's probably not even that smart. The Lapras EV training went very smooth, no errors. However, I was sidetracked with the EV training with Aggron, and I accidentally killed one Survivor, so I defeated the Survivor. We did the special attack, we did the HP, then we did the special defense. And in the middle of the special defense training, killed the Survivor. So that gave me an extra 2 EVs in special attack and 2 extra EVs in attack, which is just a waste of 4 EVs essentially. So there's a couple inefficiencies with this Aggron, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world, you know. We're not setting world records over here. Yeah, so then I brought the Aggron, after the EV training, brought the Aggron over to Fire Red, did all the other level training within the Savalt Canyon on 7 Island, trying to get the shiny Larvitar. And I think it was level like, in like the 80s, I don't remember. I actually have the picture over here. What am I doing? It was level 70. And shiny Meowth popped up. I was sitting at the computer, watching some videos, spamming the A button. I looked down, I was like, oh, that looks like a shiny Meowth. And I already hit the action for takedown. And I was like, oh, please miss. Had my phone right next to me, I grabbed it. It's like snapping some pictures because yeah, we didn't get it. But actually, no, what am I saying? Only 2 failed shinies. I have 3 failed shinies now in this game. Execute, Ninarino male, both of those in the Safari Zone, they ran away. I feel like I probably have seen a shiny Persian that I'm thinking about it, but I just, you know, you're not paying attention, spamming the buttons. Anyway, that was a little disappointing, but again, it wasn't Larvitar, and it wasn't an Onix or Skarmory. It was already a Pokemon that I had, so it's not a big deal, but still would have been kind of cool to have another shiny, you know, another shiny under the belt. They don't come around that often. When was the last shiny I've seen in Fire? The last shiny I think I saw in Fire Red Leaf Green, and again, I do a lot of training and encountering wild Pokemon, and I haven't seen one in like probably 2 years. I think the last one was maybe the Phanpy. I think I saw that in the summer. I don't even know anymore. Anyway, so I wanted to use moves like Blizzard, Fire Blast, Thunder on Aggron. However, I only had Blizzard and Fire Red to the TM, and you can only buy it in Emerald, or you can't buy those TMs in Fire Red Leaf Green. So it was kind of annoying because I want to use the PP ups on the moves because they only have 5, and I know a lot of Pokemon that we're going to be facing in the Battle Frontier have pressure, like the legendaries. So definitely like Blizzard and Thunder are going to be important to have a lot of, or multiple PP ups, just to make sure that like things like Suicune, I don't even know, Dragonite doesn't have pressure. We can hit him with it multiple times. Yeah, that's annoying. We definitely have to trade. Now I'm thinking about it. I didn't do this just yet, but gonna have to trade the Aggron back to Fire Red, use a whole bunch of PP ups because pressure is a thing. But anyway, we'll have to do that. I did also check the hidden power for Aggron. I was defeating a lot of Pokemon. I narrowed it down. One of my first guesses actually was Bug, and then did a whole bunch of narrowing it down later. I keep forgetting to check with Keldeo or whatever, Keldeon. No, what's it? Kecleon? Wait, why can I pronounce this? The chameleon. Every time I always trade the Fire Red, then I'm like, oh, I should have checked the hidden power. But yeah, how I determined it though, I defeated a Giraffe Ridge and it was super effective. I was like, okay, so it's either it's either Dark or Bug, and I was really hoping to be Dark because if it was, that'd be really nice to have, like just a Dark move on a Pokemon, especially like Aggron with a physical or special attacking. Then I defeated. What did I defeat? I somehow found a Tangela. Yeah, there was another trainer north of the Savalt Canyon where I usually train. That trainer had a Tangela, and I used hidden power, and it's super effective. So I knew for sure. It was Bug, because that's the only common weakness that those two have in common. Yeah, then I traded over to Emerald, and yeah, we gave it all the good moves. So the stats that we ended up with, 313 HP. I mean, I should just let you guys see it, but the overall, the IVs that it comes out to be 31 HP, 15 attack, 14 defense, 31 special attack, 13 special defense, and 3 speed. So again, pretty low special defense and in defense. We're halfway there, but I wish it was like 20. One thing I need to do also was find another move for the Steelix that I had, because it has Earthquake, Rock Slide, Explosion, and Roar. The Roar was a little experimental, but it doesn't really work when I'm targeting or I want to do a Choice Banded Steelix. So we're trying to figure out what move to have, and I mean, Steelix has got some good moves going for it, don't get me wrong. I wish I could learn some other moves though. Like if you could learn Aerial Ace, that'd be awesome, but there's no way that Pokemon should learn that, so it's understandable. I was thinking of things like Iron Tail, even like Toxic might be okay to have, and I know it's a Choice Band Pokemon, but at the same time, that still is pretty beneficial. I ultimately decided to either go Double Edge or Crunch. Actually, one of the main reasons why I didn't want to do Toxic too is because I could, but go back, play like Leaf Green or Ruby Sapphire and just get the TM again and then trade it over. Definitely an option, and just not in the mood for it at the exact moment. But innately, or from leveling, Steelix can learn Iron Tail, Crunch, or Double Edge. So I went to the move tutor dude in Fall Arbor Town, and I had some heart scales too, so I didn't have to go find these. So we were able to actually learn a new move. Thought about Iron Tail, but I was like, low accuracy. Steel Stab could be pretty good too. So it was definitely an option. Then I saw Crunch. Crunch is kind of cool. Double Edge is also very powerful move. And I was heavily considering that, but then I thought about Crunch. I'm like, Crunch is cool. Why is Crunch cool though? Because this team doesn't really have a way of dealing with, let's say like Gardevoir, Dusclops, things like that. At least with the moves that we chose on our I guess, hold on, like, we have Psychic on Lapras, so that kind of handles some things, but I think just having a move like Crunch, a little more versatile than let's say Double Edge, where sure it does a lot of damage, but am I really going to use Double Edge over like Earthquake? I don't know, probably not. Definitely are some situations though, but I decided to teach it Crunch because versatility, it's super effective against some things that we're not already covering. So I thought it'd be a pretty good idea. So as of right now, this is the team. It'll probably get modified, as we learn a little bit more. I'm still, the main things I'm worried though are those beefy normal types. And once I start setting up with them stupid minimizes and stuff, and Rest, Curse, and ground water Pokemon are going to be annoying. What's great though on Counter is going to be annoying too. Pokemon that have Counter possibly. Great thing though, Skarmory, Fortress, Caesar, they're not problems anymore. They're not problems for this team because Aggron, it's got Fire Blast. With Aggron, again, we're going to probably run the Bright Powder. I am heavily considering Quick Claw. The thing with all these Pokemon on the team is they're slow. And sure, they're resistant to a lot of Pokemon or a lot of typings, and sure, they're bulky, so they can take hits. But from experience, at least, I think that slow Pokemon don't do that well sometimes because you're going to get hit with the move and then you're going to get hit with a super effective move that your opponent probably has because there's so many versatile moves within the Battle Frontier. So that definitely is a concern with all these Pokemon being slow. And adding a Quick Claw, sure, like you might have a higher chance. You have a chance at going first, but with things like Aggron, I think that probably that Bright Powder is going to be a lot better in the long run, especially if we're focusing on those very powerful moves that might miss. Again, it's kind of like a chance game. I know we shouldn't really be playing like the chance probability game, but we already got the gold medal. We're trying to do it with some spicy team and boys, and I think you need a little bit of faith in your team, a little bit of luck, and I think again it makes for an exciting commentary and possibly videos in the future. And it's Aggron. It's so cool. Aggron is so cool. Like, dude, just a metal dinosaur. And yeah, Lapras gonna be doing a lot of special attacking moves, or has a lot of special attacking moves, and it's beefy. We're gonna run the leftovers. I was also thinking of Shell Bell because this is a very slow Pokemon. I think Shell Bell might have a place, but probably gonna go leftovers for now. I think leftovers a little more consistent, especially if you don't hit your moves. There's a lot of moves or a lot of Pokemon run like Protect and stuff. But yeah, and getting back to like the weaknesses too, I think every Pokemon here is weak to fighting. That's concerning. But Steelix is beefy. Has a lot of defense, like 200 defense. I don't think fighting types ain't nothing. However, counter, that is a concern. Counter is really annoying. And I already know that some of the Pokemon Steelix is going to have to use Earthquake against, might not defeat it in one hit. And if the Pokemon uses counter, Steelix is probably dead. We don't have a way to beef up our attack too. I don't think Steelix can't learn bulk up, and even if it did, we can't run the choice band. So again, fighting types, huge like negative against this team. Next up would be the water types, but at least we have Lapras to kind of balance that out. Lapras weighs 48 pounds, and there's no way Lapras weighs 48 pounds. I think they meant kilograms. No way. I think acknowledging the weaknesses of the team and at least an understanding, now that we have like the guide, now that we're using this guide, see all the Pokemon that we could potentially be versing. Definitely going to give us an edge. In the Battle Dome, Battle Dome's so fun because you can see the three other Pokemon that your Pokemon might have, or your opponent might have. and you can adapt to that and use the Pokemon in your team, which I think makes it so fun. So yeah, the Battle Dome is going to be a lot of fun, and I think if we have a chance to win or get really high with a team, I think, right, is that what I wanted to say? If there's any like place within the Battle Frontier we can get away with like a spicy team like this, I think this is it, because you can't really do this in the Battle Tower. I think it's way too difficult. And like, I mean, maybe even the Battle Bike, this would be kind of good because we got 2 steel types. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention. So yeah, I love all of these abilities on the Pokemon. We got Steelix and Aggron. They both have Sturdy. We ain't getting hit by it. No Rhydons using Horn Drill. No Laprases using Sheer Coal. None of that. No Fissures. 2 of our Pokemon are immune to that garbage. I love that. And then again, Lapras with the Shell Armor. We ain't getting critted. It ain't happening, at least against Lapras. So this team is spicy. Like, this team is awesome. We got Aggron, Steelix, and Lapras. Every time I see Lapras, so I think of Wailord. I mean, probably should have went Wailord, but again, Wailord, it is tough. Wailord tough. Definitely not as good of a Pokemon as Lapras. And Lapras also has that Stab Ice. Ooh, spicy. But also, Lapras ain't a whale, but it's pretty close. Anyway, though, next up on my to-do list is to run this through the Battle Dome. And I still gotta, yeah, there's so many things I want to do within Pokemon. There's not enough time. Like, I want to go through the Battle Factory and the other aspects of the Battle Frontier, trying to get those gold medals too. But I'm really itching to use this team, and obviously because I just finished it, but also, like, I don't know, just want to get back in the Battle Dome. It's pretty fun. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But also, I know I'm slacking on the Gen 4 stuff. I gotta do some more shiny hunting. I think I put myself in like a trap, you know, with that. Like, where I need to do this, or in order to do this, I need to do this. And then in order to do that, I gotta do that. And then this, that. And then I'm just like, I need to do this before I can do anything else. And it's like, I don't want to do that. That's where I am right now with that. Yeah, I got a shiny hunt though, Eevee in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I got a shiny hunt Platinum, or Giratina in Platinum. There's so much I gotta do, but we'll slowly chip away. You know, no sense in rushing. We'll just do what feels right. You know, I got a whole bunch of other Pokemon videos on the channel. If you haven't seen them already, definitely check them out. I'll definitely post a video about how this team is doing within the Battle Dome and let you all know. Anyway, though, take care, everybody. Hopefully everyone's enjoying playing Pokemon and enjoying the videos. I'll see you all in another video.